Hey folks, I want to talk to you a little bit today about wood stoves and how to increase their efficiency. This is our newest wood stove. It is a Hearthstone Manchester, which we really love the look of it. It's got some traditional elements, but with some really nice details, a nice pattern on the top with these heat ports you see, and there's actually cast iron fins underneath that, so it really generates a lot of heat, but it does it in a real nice even fashion with the soapstone lining. I kind of wanted I love the soapstone sides and everything, but I was just worried about having one crack, so this is cast iron and soapstone, so it's probably one of the most durable stoves you could probably buy. The only thing I've changed on it is I didn't really like the handles. They were a little too small, I thought, for my hands, so I made these. They're actually turned out of Coca-Cola, so I added some nice wood, really nice wood handles to it. But anyway, and our other stove, this is like I said, a fairly new stove. It's got a real efficient burn rate. I think it's 85% or somewhere around in there. And we have a straight, not going through the wall. We went with a straight column, double walled inside piece, which you can touch and not take out your skin. We did that you lose more heat up your stack that way, but the stack also heats up faster. So the chimney is pretty much self-cleaning, because if you build a fire real hot at the first, the stack itself, the metal expands and the creosote falls off, which is a really nice thing. And since we do not have an elbow, it falls directly into the stove, which is a great thing. So I recommend, if you can, for ease of maintenance, as well as not have to worry about a blockage in your elbow, I'd recommend that, if you can, run your pot vertical. Excuse me. But anyway, back to efficiency. So our old stove is a ember hearth. It was made in the 80s, and it uses like, I don't know, 3 to 4 times the amount of wood that this stove does. And it's a steel stove, so it takes a lot of figuring out the stove to get it kind of an even, slow heat with it. This one, on the other hand, takes a while to warm up, but then it just keeps going. I mean, it's got a heat life of like 14 hours. But one of the keys to increasing your stove's efficiency is, and you won't be able to do this with every stove, but stoves that if it's an option, everyone should go ahead and buy. Which is, I know it's a little dark back there, but that is a cold air intake. And let me run around outside and show you the other side of it. Notice we have a ramp. The ramp is how we get our firewood in. And instead of having steps on all of our decks, I put ramps in. So that right there is something I actually fabricated myself out of stainless, and cut a slope on it. The slope does two things. It keeps water from getting in the pipe, but it also increases your area for the number of holes. And notice that those are really small holes. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have a wasp nest come in and build. So I wanted to keep out everything as big as a wasp or bigger. So anyway, I put that in, and we'll go back inside because it's pretty darn cold out here this morning. You'll see our pipe in action. And as I mentioned before, this is how we actually do firewood. Is we load up a cart, and this one I made myself because it's got a very nice rack and pinion steering. we wind up putting our wood on it, and that way we only touch it one time, which is we load it in the cart and we wheel this around and bring it up the deck and park it. And our wood, we never have to transfer it until we load it in the wood stove. And this will hold 3 to 5 days of firewood, depending on how cold it is. It may hold only 2 if we're like in some kind of crazy down to 0 degrees. We might be burning a lot more wood, but for the most part we don't use a lot of wood. So anyway, that's what if you can get a stove with a cold air intake. And the reason why the cold air intake is so important is, let me go, all that air that is coming out of that chimney, well, that's got to come from somewhere inside the house, and it's got to be replaced from air inside the house. So if you don't have a cold air intake, you're bringing in cold air from around your doors, around in your floors, anywhere that air can come in. Matter of fact, if you got a really tight house, that's a problem. You can't get a good draft on your stove because your house is too tight. You've got to have enough air leakage basically in your house to feed draft, unless you've got a cold air intake, and then you're taking the house element out of it, but also you're not bringing in 20-degree air just burning the wood stove. So anyway, if you can, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon. See you.